Hi, Anne-Sophie.
Bonjour, hi.
Bonjour, hi. Sorry, I was just making an announcement. I didn't realize the time slipped. I was going to come online 5:25, and then I looked and it was 5:28. You look great. Hello.
Thank you. You
Thanks
look
for
good
joining me.
too.
Thank you very much. And I know that you had a bit of a uh, bit of a day. Yeah, Anne-Sophie, can I tell everybody? She had a
Yes,
bit of a
sure, go
phone
for it.
problem. Yeah, she lost her phone and then we found it. We know where it is, but now she's joining us from somebody else's phone, which I think is
Yeah.
great. And thank you for doing that. I'm just gonna say hi to everybody who joined. So this is Anne-Sophie Vallée, one another hero in the jewelry scene. She is currently in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I had the opportunity to get to know Anne-Sophie when we were at Harbourfront Center. We spent some very good days together. And then we were actually roommates for a little bit, for about 2 weeks, I think, 2, 3 weeks, which was amazing. I have a lot of appreciation for Anne-Sophie. Her work is amazing. I'm very grateful that you're here. Honestly, everybody who's doing this, I'm very, very grateful to you all. And I'll let you introduce yourself maybe a little bit, go through a little bit, whatever you want to share with us, and then we'll go through our regular conversation.
Okay. So hi everybody. Thanks for joining today. So my name is Anne-Sophie and I'm originally from Sherbrooke, Quebec, which is in the Eastern Township, just a little bit outside of Montreal, maybe like an hour and a half away. So I went to, I studied in Montreal, jewelry, at the School of Jewelry of Montreal. I did a program with kind of an applied art program, let's say.
Okay.
But everybody has their school who offers like a specialty. So like there was like glass, ceramics,
Yes.
textiles, jewelry.
Oh,
So we
wow.
had like some courses together that was like kind of like art courses, art history courses, and some sort of like starting a small business. And then we had our our courses in our specific school.
Right.
So yeah, that was that's where I got my sort of like more traditional jewelry technique.
Skills and learning and yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I got introduced to this. And and then that was like 2008 to
Oh, okay.
2011. So
Okay.
quite a few years back now. And
Yeah,
then,
right?
yeah, time goes by. And then, in 2013, I moved to Halifax to do my Bachelor of Fine Arts at NSCAD University.
NSCAD, right.
And I finished in 2016, and I've stayed here. So I'm now living and working here.
Yeah, you left and then you went back. You came to Toronto, but we couldn't manage to hold you here for a long time because you just went back to Halifax. She loves.
True.
I think you
Yeah, I
really
had a
do
short.
like it there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was enrolled in a full-time residency program,
Yeah.
but I did a bit of a shorter residency that would be similar to a summer residency,
Summer
but then in the fall.
residency. Exactly. You did a little short residency, which was great. I very much enjoyed having you at the studio, and for selfish reasons, I wanted you to stay at the studio. But then once I saw how much love you have, because sometimes when you're an artist and you leave your own, um, I'm not going to say comfort zone because it's not really a comfort zone. It's somewhere where you had so much love for that the moment, and and when we lived together for that short period, when we talked, I knew that you really wanted to go back. And then once you went back, I was like, no, she made you know yourself. So you went back and you just started creating amazing work again, which was very good to see.
Yeah, for sure. I think like Toronto can be a little bit like difficult to integrate at first if
Oh
you don't
yeah.
have like a network of like friends or acquaintances or something like that. So like my previous living situation kind of fell through, and then I have like a couple like
Yeah.
living situations. So I felt that at a moment, I think the residency is an awesome place to be, but I feel that the sacrifice that I had to do for my own
Yes.
personal life versus what I was getting, I just felt that maybe it wasn't like the right time. So I thought maybe I will get back to this
Yes.
later.
To be honest, I completely agree with you on that because the residency is an amazing physical and it's a great atmosphere and everything. But if you're as an artist, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about myself. If you're not, because I also had a few difficult months at Harbourfront Center where I lived in Toronto back then, but it was going through some difficult times headspace wise. And once your head is occupied in those matters, then what's a good space to do and to use for, right? So if you know if you go back somewhere else or in another space you're going to do a lot better, you got to do you.
Absolutely. And I think like at least the time that I spent at the residency, I was able to go there full time. I didn't work, so I think I took really great like advantage of being there.
Oh, you did? Yeah, for sure.
Just like the time that I was able to dedicate to my own work when I was there, so I didn't have to like juggle what all the residents at the Harbourfront have to do, which is like working a lot to pay rent.
Yes, exactly.
Toronto being so expensive, but great experience, really nice, a great group of support. I love
it was lovely. I love every moment because Marie-Ève Castonguay was also there, and you were a great addition, and we had a very, very good time with you. But hey, look at where you are right now.
Yeah, we're all,
and it's amazing.
And
you're and we're all connected. That's why I love these things and the opportunities and the institutions and all the organizations, because they put us in touch. And we can I also forgot to tell everybody this was made by Anne-Sophie when I showed it to you, and I'm attaching it with this. Usually lives on my fridge because it's how Anne-Sophie does her. So she brought one of these to her interview at Harbourfront Center, and I was currently a resident, so I was one of the, what do you call us? Not the judges, like interviews, And Anne-Sophie had a bunch of these on the table, and she was showing us. And then she gifted one to me, which later on I kind of got into trouble for because I wasn't supposed to take any gifts. But I always have it, and I put it on the fridge. And today I was like, I should wear this, and I'm using a magnet behind it to wear this. Anne-Sophie is a powder coating master. That's what I like to refer to her as. She does a lot of, right? Most of your work is with powder coating, I would say.
I was introduced to powder coating when I was at NSCAD. When I got there, like a lot of us that was there at the same time.
Yeah.
Aurélie and Natalie was there. We all got like, ooh, we love these colors, and then they had like a nice booth set up.
I've heard about the booth there. Yeah,
we were there, but it's just like a very satisfying thing to like start working with color, I think, because at the beginning when you learn the traditional jewelry technique, it's like a lot of like the silver, polished silver, brushed silver, and then not being able to afford gold is just like a color that, so you have like a very limited color combination.
Yeah, exactly. In metals. I wasn't introduced to powder coating until much later through Alice Eugenian in Harbourfront Center, and then when you came, I picked her braids up, and I was like, okay, I feel like I know a lot more about powder coating, and I think it's a great tool for us, especially for, as you said, we don't have a lot of access to colors, especially for people like, I don't think you also work with a lot of gemstones. I haven't seen a lot of gemstones in your work.
No, actually, I haven't been using a gemstone in my work very much.
Me neither. So it's a very good compliment.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of like there's not much to the technique, and it's just like a very, very like quick result. That is just like very uniform.
Well, no, you say that. You say there's not a lot of technique to the technique because you're so comfortable with it. But once you want to get the hang of powder coating, you need to do a few tests and get the hang of it. Because I look at my first powder coated stuff and I'm like, oh my God, this is like totally not the right consistency. It's like I didn't, even I feel like you have an extremely strong sense of colors and putting the colors together and stuff. And even that becomes a whole big issue in powder coating because it's like doing all of those colors and then, sort of matching them together. And then I really, that's one of the things why I'm really attracted to your work, is because your choice of colors are always right on that. And I love it.
So, yeah, it's always, working with colors. I just like find it gives like such a, I like to see my work as something that like, I don't know, when I see maybe like aesthetic, something that has to do with the aesthetic experience for me, like is often really sort of initiated by this, like the colors happening. And then, so I try to maybe like get this sort of like saliving moment.
Yeah, no, I think you're doing a fantastic job. And talking about your work, I was just thinking you were going to do one of a kind, right?
Yeah, so before this shutdown,
Yeah.
I was getting ready for that. So this was gonna happen at the end of March. So the beginning of this year for me have been sort of working on my jewelry line and just like producing as well as designing a booth. And yeah, actually my booth is currently at the Harborfront.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Because I, you know, like in the way they were communicating with us, it was sort of in the week, because all this happened real quick. They were like, oh yeah, like the event is going to happen. You know, we're just going to implement like more measures around safety, sanitizing,
Right.
like, you know, but then like a couple days later, this situation changed. And because we were getting so close to the date, I was like, that's it. I have to ship my booth. And yeah, I shipped my booth. And I thought that Harborfront would be a good space to send it.
Yeah,
and
for sure. That's amazing. Oh, hi.
Yeah, I had to, my plan was to wheel my booth over from the Harborfront Center to the One of a Kind to save some money.
Yes, for sure. Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And then, yeah.
And yeah, so, I mean, so that just left me a little bit with a lot of jewelry made to move. So I've been looking at other alternative. I was like, okay, I need to move some jewelry. All the stores are going to be closed. So since I've been living in the Maritime, I've been trying to make connections with local shops that I was kind of feeling a connection with.
Yeah.
And so yeah, starting distributing my work a little bit in New Brunswick, here in Halifax and in the province. And yeah, but because this was all like not going to be successful in terms of sale, and so I just decided to start an online shop.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if you did anything, because I feel like that's what happened to a few people, more than a few people, where they're preparing for shows, including myself, for a Toronto Outdoor Show, and then now it got canceled. It's going online, but I definitely didn't need as much inventory as I made, and all the stores are also closed. Now they're going online, but so go on, please continue. Online store.
Yeah, so that's something that I've been thinking for a long time. Obviously, I think
You and all of us.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who make jewelry who do not have an online shop.
Yes.
And I feel that when I tell people that I make jewelry, they're like, "Oh yeah, like can I like see your online shop?" And I was just like, "Oh, I don't really have an online shop." And it seems like it would be like something so obvious that you would have like a great website and a great online shop, but reality behind the scene is that it involves a lot of work and great pictures.
Yeah.
And like
exactly.
Yeah, I think the documentation of the work is a huge
oh, it's a huge part of it. You can't just, that's the thing, you can't just set up an online store like that, because the images are very important, especially for jewelry. It's so hard to photograph jewelry with the reflection and the small sizes and the macro lens, and then you have to do editing. And then even once you do, that's another thing that we were discussing, and I'm hoping to get more people to talk about it as we're talking about all of this stuff and all these changes, is that it's getting the website done is one part, and then marketing it and pushing it on the right platforms and getting the clients and everything else is another ball game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I made like some research, like which platform and everything. And I think out of panic, and I was like, I want to sell stuff right now. And I had started to look into an Etsy shop, and that's what I did. I just opened an Etsy shop, and it's been good in terms of, it's kind of a very reliable platform.
Good.
You get a lot of like updates and notification, and like there's a lot of things that are like preset for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost is really low. So I did that, and in the end,
Good.
I thought maybe that would bring me like some more customer, like more traffic. But I think that it's been mostly local.
Okay.
Or not local, a lot of local, and then a lot of
like your
friends or
okay.
people that know me. That
Your fans and followers, and you know, people that know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe for this reason, you could just go for it. You have your own separate, like either like a Squarespace or a Shopify, or any other platform.
Etsy has been around for a very long time, and I often find in our community that Etsy's sometimes frowned upon. That it's like, oh, it's like sort of like a bazaar or a big market and whatnot. But honestly speaking, at this point of our lives where everything has just such a rapid shift, I don't think like Etsy is trustworthy. They've already had everything set up, and I'm sure. Like, how long have you been on it now? How long have you been doing it?
Not very long. I'd say like maybe like, I mean, since like mid-March.
Okay.
Some criticism that I heard
Uh-huh.
was that it will prevent you to sort of like retain your clientele.
Oh, okay.
Some people were recommending to do like the MailChimp.
Right. Okay.
Got like send out like a letter, infolettre. How do you call that? Infolettre.
Yeah.
Your customer, and just
Infolettre,
like
yeah.
That base of data, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good, and I'm happy that I did it, and I can't believe it took so long. And I think just like with right now, like maybe it allows you to take like cell phone pictures maybe of your work, do a little setup, do something quick. And I think sometimes we want to do so well, we want to have those great pictures, we want to have this like, you know,
yeah,
300 DPI so quality.
No, but you know, it's
great on big screen, but you can like, there's a lot of people on their phone shopping on their phone, so like at some point you just got to put the stuff out there, and then I think you can kind of work at it and like make it better, but it just kind of gives you like a leverage.
I agree with you, because that's the point I'm trying to get across, is that once your hands are tied as an artist and you don't have the access to a lot of resources or the money, or because for me, like one of the biggest issues I have right now is getting my stuff photographed. Like, it's going to cost me, and I honestly speaking in front of everybody, my income right now is not that high to, and yes, I know I can take pictures with my phone. That's what everybody says. Oh, just take them with your phone. But if you want to go by a certain standard, which my website has started with that, like professional photography, I can't just post pictures of my phone that I've taken with my phone onto my website and stuff. So I'm saying that platforms like these, like Etsy, they're there. And if somebody like you needs to take advantage of them while you get your other stuff getting on roll, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You don't necessarily have to, you know, when you go into like a big sort of department store, there's things for everybody. There's things that we might not like. There's things that we might like, but there's something for everybody. So this is sort of the same concept, that right now, as an independent artist, I fully support your choice to going. That's what I'm trying to say. To go on Etsy and make what you need to make right now, and this was a lesson for all of us. Even I had my online store prepared and everything, but that's what I'm saying. I had my online store, great for me. I had my pictures, great for me. But pushing it and finding the right time, because also starting from January 1st, there hasn't been much time where you can advertise your stuff, because everybody's senses are so heightened that you got to find the time these days, and everybody's either depressed or stressed out and whatnot. So you can't just like be like, oh, hey, the world is exploding, but like, buy my stuff, you know, on Instagram. It just looks bad. So it's hard. That's what I'm trying to say. And good for you for being on Etsy. Good for you for selling your work.
I put my stuff at the mall.
Sorry?
It's like if I put my stuff for sale at the mall.
Yeah, but hey, like right now, nothing is normal, and I think everybody's level of all of that boxed in our heads needs to just calm down for a little bit, and everybody needs to just be understanding of the time and let go of a lot of buts and ands and ifs, because right now the situation is very different. Everybody's trying to get by. Canada's being supportive, great. but still, we need to make our art and our money and our life go on. Like, just, you can't just pause. So that's what I'm saying. Like, good for you. As opposed to you putting all your stuff around you in your studio and looking at them, you're actually making an effort to put them out there. Even if your sales are not high, they're still out there. And if somebody walks to you and be like, hey, Anne-Sophie, do you have anything for sale online? Yes, here it is on my Etsy. Good for you.
Make it easy.
I'm proud of you. Sorry,
And
my computer just shut down. So
that's okay. But then I wanted to maybe like make a connection, and like when I started to make jewelry, and I wanted to make like a connection with like the current times right now. And I had this thought that it really sprung some sort of a survivalist instinct in me during those times. And I started making jewelry when I was traveling in Central America. That was in between 2005 and 2008. And I was traveling in a van with friends, and we left BC, drove on the west coast of the United States, and then and then I ended up in Mexico with some friends, and we just had this plan to go like travel all the way down from Central America from Mexico to Panama. So yeah, during this time, I was looking for ways to make income as I was traveling, with the goal in mind to be able to travel the longest time possible. So I just really kind of entered this mindset that a lot of travelers that were like also that I met on the way, that were either like Mexican or that they were coming from South America, they were going the opposite direction. You know, everyone was just kind of learning some trade, and I did, at first I was just doing crochet, and then I learned a whole bunch of macrame, and I was just like went with macrame for years, making jewelry.
Yeah? Wow.
Yeah, a lot of macrame.
I didn't know about this.
Though.
Sorry?
I've never done the planter thing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Although I could use them in my studio, I have quite a lot of plant to hang.
That's funny.
But yeah, and then I just started using metal wire. So that's been present in my work for a long time, because some work that I have still use like little twisted metal wire. But yeah, that's
I didn't know this. I didn't know about. No, I didn't know. I didn't know how you started in Mexico, and that's a big piece of information. Okay.
Yeah. At first, the source of income was a circus performance.
Oh.
And passing the hat around, and then I just got interested in just making things, all the craft techniques and things I've encountered.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so the first place where I saw was like literally on the street with a little blanket, finding a spot here and there at the beach, you know, like downtown, like wherever we wouldn't get like.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, that's how.
Did you ever get any metal training in Mexico, or was it just all self exploration?
I kind of did at some point. The last year that I was there, which was in 2007, so that would have been in the fall. I've heard of the city called Tasco, which is in the city of Guerrero. It's not too far from Mexico City.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that place.
Yes. And they have like a huge silver mine. There, well, they're still exploiting it, but like the little town just like grew around this economy, and so there's every shop in this town. They're all like silver work, and it's really interesting too, because the town has a lot of they have everything as far as metal go. If you want to have, there was this metal that is like an alloy of brass that I use that look a little bit like kind of pink gold. It has like more pink. We call it like tumbaga. I use a lot of alpaca, which we call maisha in French, or nickel silver in English.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so they had like all sorts of like little things you can get. And so the UNAM, which is the Universidad Autónoma de México.
Oh, yes.
They have a department over there. And so it's right in the entrance of the city. It's really nice and sort of like in the woods. It's just right next to the big arches. when you get there, and they're just like really, they have a jewelry program. And yeah, so you can get like do your like drawing courses and some like design course, and then you have like jewelry studio. And so I took some courses there that were more like open studio, and there was this there was a professor and an assistant, and so you would go and you would get a little demonstration in the morning, and then you would have the afternoon to do some free stuff. And that's where I learned kind of sawing and soldering, filing, and like those basic techniques. So,
Okay.
yeah, that was like for a couple months that we lived in the city of Tasco.
That's amazing. I didn't know this. So it's and you know, Mexico is very well known for their techniques. So that's why I asked. I was like, did you get any firsthand experience with the?
I did. I think when I was going to the market and I was seeing people who were like actual, you know, like silversmith, and I was looking at their massive ring. And then I think anybody who went to Mexico, just the experience walking into a market and getting into like a table where people have those like obsidian on the table and all the different type of obsidian, which is like, anyway, a crystal, and have like all those effects in it, and it's just like this mysticism around it. And it's just
I know.
so impressive.
Mexico for me represents a lot of colors and textures.
Yeah.
There was a million textures in that. Well, Mexico City. I've only went to Mexico City, but seeing like going through the markets and everything, I was blown away by their amount of different sorts of textures, like carved textures, weaved, metal textures. They're so textural, and everything was so beautiful. I loved it. And I can't wait to go back. And I want to take a few courses actually. I want to like go to Mexico and do what you did, but much later in my. I don't know if I could just go around and sit on the streets on the beach. I would love to, but I'm definitely looking forward to do something like that.
Yeah,
in
it was something great, but definitely something like the way that I traveled back then. I don't think I would go back and like do the same thing.
Yeah, no.
You know, this was like, this happened.
That's why, yeah.
Now I would probably be looking like for a residency I could do or something.
Yeah, well, there's residencies there actually. There's a lot of residencies, I think.
Yeah, I'd like maybe to do something more socially involved. Like I've seen some jeweler and metalsmith going down there, maybe like associating with a small center who offers craft courses, and maybe I mean, they know so much, like it's not about, but it's just maybe having this exchange, something I would look forward to.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I also know somebody who would be very well connected in Mexico and could be very helpful is Kif Slemons. She had a huge I think she even lived there. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, but she has a very, very big circle of people that she has in Mexico, and she's just the loveliest woman who's ever lived. So I'm sure if anybody wanted to go, like get in touch with Kif. She's in Chicago. She's very nice.
Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, and Aurélie knows her really well too, so you can always throw Aurélie under the bus and get her to do it. Yeah. And I also, so you mentioned when you were talking, you mentioned this exhibition that I was very, very interested in, and I took a look at it, but I don't want to spoil it. I want you to talk about it a little bit. The illuminations. Please.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch a word about this exhibition because it's been touring in various cities across Canada.
Yes.
Well, mostly in the east and like east of Ontario.
Okay.
But I just thought that it was such a nice project.
Yes.
And I was really happy to be able to be part of. And so right now the exhibition Illuminations is at the Riverbrink Art Museum in Ontario, in the Niagara of the Lake. And it's a group of 15 women silversmiths, and it was part of the 150th anniversary of Canada.
Yes.
So it was to celebrate the involvement of women in the arts. So each metalsmith got like a category of art, either like literature, dance, you know, like sculpture. I had theater, and then we had to do like a piece that was like a commemoration. And we had to do a candle holder.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked with the silver that was donated by the curator, Laura Braden.
Oh, wow.
So it was like two family who donated their family silver. And then this metal got melted down, and we each had like a portion, and then we needed to make our candle holder.
Wow. I didn't know this part of it.
Yeah, so everybody got like a little chunks of something as well that was trying to like integrate into their composition.
Very cool.
But yeah, I thought it was like such a nice initiative, and yeah.
It was, for people who are in Toronto, this show was at Craft Ontario for Design Festival. They've changed their name so many times. Toronto Design Festival. Am I right? Yeah, it was at Craft Ontario. Yeah.
It was at Craft Ontario, downtown on Queen Street.
Yeah, but it was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if somebody has a better knowledge of this, but it was during the Design Toronto Festival.
Yes.
And they did that at Craft Ontario. I went to it, and my mind was blown. It was a very, very nice exhibition, and there were so many different approaches to the idea.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and are there images online? Because I didn't really check the website, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's pictures of each of the individual work, and
I'll try to do, because I know there's something that
made a website for the exhibition.
Yeah, I actually just clicked on it and it opened up, and I'm looking at it because I had your email open with this in it. I'm gonna go check it out. But for whoever hasn't had the chance of seeing this show up close and personal, the website, I'll try to post a website here right now as Anne-Sophie's talking, so everybody has access to the website. And then also, you have some good news that you wanted to share.
Some good news? Oh yeah. Yeah, I can now talk about it because I've told my employer.
Yes, there you go.
So I will be starting my MFA in the fall at RISD. So I'm moving to Rhode Island in September, actually probably in August. But yeah, really, really excited about it. It's like a great opportunity. And I've been thinking about going to do my master ever since I finished NSCAD, obviously. But yeah, you really have to find out which school would be a good fit and sort of investigate like funding. And that's...
Because I know, and I was very, very happy when you told me that, because I do have had a few chats with people that were kind of very, very unsure about school next year.
Yeah.
And the situation, and the level of optimism wasn't there. But when I talked to you and you were like, yes, because I think it's first of all, it's an amazing school. And you know, for me, honestly, I've been to school 3 times, so I kind of feel bad going back to school. But any day, if they're like, what's your favorite thing to do, is going back to school, because it's such an amazing I've always had amazing experiences with school. I don't know if everybody else agrees or not, especially the jewelry school. But so kudos to you, and I'm very, very proud of you as a fellow Canadian that you're pushing.
For sure. Yeah.
No,
I
good.
mean, there's a lot of opportunity south of the border, let's say. I think we have like a lot of great school as well here. We have few for a jewelry program in Canada. So there's like 3 basically: NSCAD, OCAD, ACAD. And then, I think getting funding in Canada, like the system is not necessarily the same. So it's difficult maybe to get something as substantial as you would get in the States when they have sometimes like full scholars, full tuition covered, for example, or like you can even get like a stipend or something to cover your studies. So I think it's really to like get more information and starting to investigate those things and just applying.
Yeah, no, honestly, good, because a lot of people, like even myself, I maybe down the road I'll do my master's, but just the thought of like the process of applications and stuff scares me a lot. So just the fact that you actually followed through and you did all this, and then very well deserved, obviously, and I can't wait to see what you do, because I think you're going places, my friend, to be honest. Don't forget us.
No. I'm actually happy that it's not far down south. Like I'll actually be able to drive. It's a 5 and a half hour
good.
drive to Montreal,
Yeah.
so I'm actually getting closer.
Yeah.
Down.
To home.
Yeah. What did I want to say?
Because
I forgot, but
I mean, also, I mean, I have so many questions now. With the
one thing that I wanted to say is that the application process was so easy.
Oh, it was.
It was so easy, especially at RISD. They had like really straightforward, you know, like you just like upload your unofficial transcript, you know, you don't need to like contact your old school and then request things through the mail, and it was just
good.
Just so well laid out on our website. It was easy. If you have like your good images of your work that you can just,
good. That's what it's supposed to be too about this stuff. It should be more focused on your work as opposed to writing proposals and this and transcripts and all that. So I'm very happy you shared that. Did you hear that, everybody? It's not that hard to apply for master's programs.
It's not that hard. I had applied in 2018. So I've had done the process once. And I think maybe the most like hardy part of the application is definitely that letter that you have to write. That is like maybe 2 pages.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, that's a given.
It's such a formal thing, and it's just like saying a little bit about you and like what you want to do in the future, and of course with previously investigating a little bit the school, you just
of course. I mean, that's part of that comes with it, but just following through and no, good. I'm very. How many students are in that program? Do you know?
Yes.
Even roughly, you don't have to give me an exact number. I'm just curious to see how big it is. Like I
think it's going to be like a total for 2 years of around like 10, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm imagining like all the other masters is like sort of self-disciplined, or do you have courses and stuff too?
For sure. Well, it's like, it looks a lot like, you know, grad seminar, jewelry seminar.
Okay.
Non-elective seminar.
That's nice.
And studio.
That's good.
Which I think is just like a balance of theory and practice, and an opportunity to discuss with your peers. And
for sure.
But yesterday, RISD made their announcement for the fall.
Okay.
And so there is going to be some in-person classes that are going to be held.
Okay.
Which is really great. I'm really happy to know that.
Yeah.
I'll have at least.
For a master's program, I would want that too. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
But I feel that this is going to be way more kind of self-driven this year because
of all the things happening. Yeah, it's sort of expected.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes I feel like in Europe, they have a little bit that model where it's like, oh, I saw my teacher 6 weeks ago, sort of.
Yes.
Like more time to develop your work, and then like feedback coming in a little bit more slowly. But I think that this might look a little bit more closer to that with the like reduction of in-person courses.
Hey, as long as you're happy, right?
As long as I have studio access.
As long as you have a studio access and you're happy, then hey, hallelujah. No, that's amazing. Are you doing any new work?
Yeah. So
I'm always hesitant about asking this question because I know often, especially right now, people are like, don't talk to me about new work. So I was like, as I was asking it, I was like, did we bring this up? And I was like, okay, yes, we did. So you have new work. Yay. I didn't make you stressed out. Perfect.
I prepared a sample table for you. And
oh, you did? Good.
Yeah.
And can you give us... Also, by the way, I love that plant behind you. That's so amazing that you have a plant in your studio. I think everybody should have a plant in their studio.
It looks like it's coming out of my head.
Yes, it kind of did look like it was coming out of your... Oh, it's long. Oh, wow. Tall ceilings. That's perfect.
Yeah. That's good. You guys can get a little overview.
Oh my God, that's a big studio. And so...
Yeah, here we are in Camp Road, Halifax. So the neighborhood is
nice.
It's car dealership world around here.
Hey, who cares? We're talking about the inside. We don't care about the outside. Even if it's Armageddon outside, if you have a good studio, then that's great.
Yeah, seriously.
So nice. pretty
Yeah, I'd like to go back,
satisfied. Uh-huh.
say more about my plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this beautiful purple plant here.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna
Oh,
see
wow.
that.
Windows and
Yeah.
everything. Tall ceilings, windows, long,
Spider
long
plant.
studio. How many people are jealous right now? It's okay to be jealous.
Yeah, and I have to mention, talking about new work, maybe something to say about that is that I was able to come to the studio every day during the pandemic.
Good.
Ivy.
Perfect. I
I
love
don't know how
that.
this
You have
is
so many
called.
plants.
Yeah, actually,
Wow.
they all started like very small and like grew pretty big.
Because you give them love. That's why plants need love.
Love, and I spray them too.
Love
I
and
think I
water.
really love that. Gotta get a little spray bottle.
That's an amazing. Do you have the studio by yourself?
So no, I'm sharing
Okay.
with Caroline Deacon, and
Okay.
that we were at NSCAD at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
And
So,
yeah, but she hasn't been able to come in very much. So she started sharing a space here in September, but she's been working full time, and also during the pandemic, she was living with her family in the valley in the
okay.
Anne-Sophie
So it was kind of hard for
Valley.
her.
Wasn't it fun?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been pretty much me in here, but
Okay.
anytime she wants to come, she can have all the space
She can have
wants.
all her space back. Because
Yeah.
if Toronto goes the same way it's going right now, and it's becoming pretty unaffordable, it's the
Yeah.
perfect term for it. So you never know. I might move to Halifax and share a studio with you. Hi. Keep me in mind.
Plenty of spaces. So, well, to be fair on this topic, it's quite difficult to find a studio space in Halifax.
In Halifax, why is that?
Why?
Yeah, is it a shortage of spaces or just because not enough people are asking, you know?
Well, I don't know if I have I mean, my understanding of the situation is, first of all, there's it's difficult to find a place to stay. Like, real estate is really expensive here.
Okay,
Especially,
okay, yeah,
small
that's what I was
peninsula.
wondering.
We also
Okay.
have a lot of students coming from, there's 5 universities in town.
Oh, okay.
So that creates kind of a bit of a shortage
That's
of
what I was
space.
trying to figure out to see if it's just, yeah, okay, that makes
Yeah.
total sense.
But once I was talking with Rebecca Hannon, and she mentioned something that I thought was kind of interesting as far as Halifax not having a huge sort of industrial manufacturing
Okay,
history.
right.
So that sort of space that you would been looking at that have been in cities like Toronto or Montreal, sort of reconverted in studio space or artist space, we don't have much of that architecture here. So I don't know. Yeah. So we are just a little bit, my old studio space got demolished, shaved, and they're just gonna build condos there. I don't know. So
Okay,
it's
so
just
there's a lot.
finding building that is falling in ruin.
Yeah, falling into right before it falls into
Yeah,
pieces.
and
You
then,
just move in there and then you sort of stay as long as you can and then you go on in a hunt for another space. Yeah,
exactly.
that's
you
how
run
it
out
is.
like the rats do.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Oh my God. Can you also show us? So I just turned off the comments, everybody, because I think you're at the lower window. So I want, and there was a few comments for you that I have to read. A few people congratulated you on your, on the school. And then, but I'll read them to you after. But if also anybody has any questions for Anne-Sophie, there's a little question mark at the bottom, right next to the flying paper plane. You can always post your questions there, and then I can ask Anne-Sophie. And says, "Oh my God, are those what? Oh, I thought it was candy." I was like, "Yeah, it's candy time."
This is how my jewelry practice turned into.
Because yes, this is amazing. Tell us more. Tell us everything.
Okay. Well, I guess I've been lately I've been interested how to start. Yeah. I was interested in this idea of participation that is sort of a huge focus in art in the last century.
Yes.
And rather than focusing on it in the way that would be kind of performative, I wanted to see how, like, what was the performativity of the material.
Okay.
And so I wanted to see how I could help the material to participate in the works form.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess my process have been sort of a little bit relying on chance.
Okay, which
And
is amazing. I love that.
yeah, I was trying to move away from maybe having like a very sort
Set.
of orchestrated
Yeah.
process.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I just started to accumulate a lot of material, kind of found material, sort of construction material, and just taking a lot of like imprints, started working with this material that a lot of people will know called hydrostone.
Okay.
That Marie-Ève gave me a little bag of hydrostone.
Oh, she
time.
did? Good.
Yeah. So this was one thing that I thought really fun from the Harborfront Center. I feel we've all been swapping little materials here and there and just like getting each other started with something new.
Exactly. That's amazing.
And I guess, yeah, so I was sort of researching a little bit this idea that I was introduced to called
is that gold?
No, so this is, I'm gonna take that to them. It's like I'm trying to imagine what it would be to walk on a shoreline. I'm trying to get you like a good, this is too bright. This won't work. What is it going to be to like walk in a shoreline?
Okay.
In the near future.
Okay.
So this is all fragments.
Wow.
Fragments from maybe previous work.
I see it much better now, and what you're explaining is making a lot of sense. Wow.
And so, yeah, I was trying to work with sort of like the vitality of the material.
Yeah.
And trying to see how I could help it sort of produce accident or to behave in a way that maybe was sort of unplanned or just propulsed by it.
Can you tell us a little bit about the process of like how do you
This little sample table
form these?
Yeah, so for all of these here, I wanted to maybe try to have play a little bit with this idea of formlessness. So I didn't want to be playing with any sort of like geometry.
Yes, which is very fitting to the idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it kind of started a little bit with trying to cast things and like having unsuccessful molding experience and just suddenly falling in love a little bit more with the residue, the leftover, the chips.
It's amazing.
And I just started accumulating a lot of material here in the studio. And basically it turned into more some sort of like free casting, let's say. So I've been using plastic bags mostly. So pretty much all my material I worked with are like recycled objects, plastic cups and plastics and old containers. Cool. Yeah.
Especially with all the plastic conversations that are going on right now. Like this is, in my opinion, it's a very good way to recycle and also make beautiful art. It's also wearable art sometimes. So I love that one. I think that one is probably one of my favorites.
This one?
Yeah.
You might get something in the mail soon.
Oh my God. Could you imagine? No, I like them all actually. They're all my favorites. No, I'm kidding. Can I see the pink one up there too? There's a bright pink. No. Oh yeah, this one's really cool too. Oh wow.
So I'm just kind of adding pigment to some mixture. I've been working with different things, sometimes plaster, sometimes sort of polymer modified plaster-like material to get a little bit more strength. But they give me a very like kind of post-human vibe.
Oh my God,
sort of
that's lovely.
Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it kind of has that sense to it, and that's why I'm saying like right now it's such a fitting. Oh wow.
They are literally some sort of magical trash.
Yeah,
They're
like
very
magic trash, but it's also I don't know for me like this one also just because you're not really using. I mean, this one's round, so you associate it with a round shape, but the other ones also kind of look a little bit like a crystalline structure to me that is just sort of um, organically growing. You know, there's not a lot of yeah.
yeah. I've
These are
been
cool.
sort of I
Very
don't
cool.
know, kind of looking into like looking into the geological past to sort of
Hmm.
understand
Hmm.
what was going on in the world at this moment.
This is
Um,
also very, very nice.
but I see them as maybe like future artifact. I
Yes.
try to imagine in 100 years from now, just like someone finding this and trying to dissect
No, it's
what's in
very cool.
this.
I think and there's also a feeling of, I mean, they look chaotic, but there's also this feeling of, ooh, can you go back?
Yeah, so I used resin for this one
Wow.
and it got really glossy and
I like that.
yeah,
I really like that. Maybe
I
this
really
one's
want
my
a
favorite.
sandblaster.
Oh, yeah.
Just maybe like buff it up a bit.
Yeah. You should do that. These are all very, I don't know, and the more I'm seeing them, the more I'm enjoying them and loving them.
So I do a lot of like kind of fragmenting and then just like doing some piling them and then I sift, just like a lot of sifting. So this is the material I work with.
Oh, and I love that like when you're touching it, I could feel it. Maybe this is why there's so many Instagram accounts now that people are cutting stuff and touching stuff, and it's like it feels good when you see somebody touching work that you wanna. Oh wow, very cool. And so there's also a little glossy section to that. I guess it's just the plastic that you're using. It's a little glossy.
There, well, sometimes I like to work on a little bit like a larger scale that
Hmm.
it's still small, but that I feel comfortable with just to kind of explore the process.
Oh
It's kind
wow,
of, I was making those slabs, um,
very cool.
but yeah, whenever I have an unsuccessful experiment, they just finished in like little chunks.
Yeah, they look like little futuristic stones. These ones, or like from other planets. Very cool.
So that's what's going on the table right now.
That's amazing. Thanks for preparing that for us. That was
Sure.
amazing.
It was nice to lay it all out.
Yeah, it's also, yeah, I was wondering if you're also getting ideas when you lay them next to each other and it's like motivating you. I turned on commenting too if anybody has any questions for Anne-Sophie.
Or maybe you would like to help me understand my own work. That would be nice.
Oh man, you're funny. See, that's what I really love about a lot of people in this field, that everybody has a bit of a sense of humor. They don't take themselves super seriously, especially in Canada. I love it. It's it's uh it's a very comforting feeling when you see people just being like you.
Well, sometimes I understand, like there's this whole sort of stereotype about the artist having this huge ego. And
Yes.
sometimes I can understand why someone would develop such a thing because there's no path really for us. And it's very, very self-driven. And sometimes
Yes.
this lack of sense of productivity when you just mess around with things is very enjoyable, but also makes you question yourself a lot and your
Yes.
role in this world and your
Exactly.
relevance. And yeah, but I think there's some idea that I like, which is, je vais le dire en français,
Ouais.
qui est l'éloge de l'inutilité. like the I don't
I,
know the translation for the word éloge. If
I know,
someone,
that's what I was trying to think. How did you
but
translate
it's
that?
just like
Eloge.
uh,
Uh,
mm, just
this
to
is
like pay tribute to the uselessness, because I think this is a concept that is very celebrated in science, because there's a lot of kind of, you wouldn't necessarily think about the usefulness of such testing, but hey, you know what, maybe in 200 years this will come to useful
exactly.
to certain civilizations. So you never really know like if there's a relevance or not, but if you feel that, yeah, I think you
Oh.
should just pursue something if you
No, it's
feel
good.
like
And
it. But
I
yeah,
think we also had a comment. Oh yeah, Dorothy is saying, "I love your freedom to explore." I'm just reading out loud. I'm gonna read all of these loud because I figured out last time that you guys don't see the comments. It's just me that I see the comments. Is that true?
I see them.
Oh, you see them. Okay, then you
I
can see.
do.
Somebody told me that they can't. So she's just basically saying that she, as if you were still at NSCAD, I have a hard time accessing this level of play, which I know a lot of people, it's not just you, Dorothy, it's everyone. It's a lot of us that it's just hard. And I think the reason for that, and I know that wasn't directed towards me, but I'm going to answer it. And then I would love to hear your opinion on this too. But I think oftentimes, especially with jewelry, we get so caught up in a lot of like the fancy gemstones, the gold, the silver, and all that, and then what's the trend and what's the not, that we oftentimes get away from what we want to make and and also with custom projects, with what the stores want, with what people want, and all that stuff. So it's very encouraging to see people like you, for people like me and Dorothy, that I can't get away from that either right now, because I'm like, I want to sit behind my bench and I just want to play around with, and I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I feel like I'm slowly kind of getting into that habit and doing it more, just playing around, because that's, to be honest with you, about 80% of the things that I'm doing right now is my ideas from school and Harbourfront Center, because after that, my level of creativity just sort of, not that it shut down, but there was so many things on my mind that I couldn't. So I still go back to my sketchbooks from that period and I look at the things that I've designed then, because I feel like I had a freer mind.
Yeah.
So, and I would, and, but you always, I remember you also did that when you were at Harbourfront, that you just had that playfulness to your work, and it's amazing.
I think it's kind of a luxury to have time to do that.
Yes.
In the past 2 years, I've been putting a lot of work on my jewelry line, and I found that I didn't find time to just really, and it's also like this whole like set of tools, or like the stuff you take out and then like your workspace becomes completely different.
Yes.
But yeah, it's difficult when those two things are a little
Yeah.
far from each other, to kind of be like, find the discipline to be like, Friday night, I'm just going to hang out in the studio, have a glass of wine, and just mess around with stuff.
There you go. That's what I feel like we all need to kind of force ourselves to do that once in a while and just bring that kind of playfulness out. Otherwise, it just gets dull and then it turns into something repetitive that you don't want. Hi, Anso. Sorry, everybody. I was just explaining to everybody that once you reach an hour with Instagram Live, it just automatically cuts you off. And I totally forgot about that. And I honestly did not think we've been talking for an hour.
You have to do the radio guy thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse our technical difficulty issues. Yeah, no, but anyway, we've been talking for an hour, and I feel bad for taking so much time of your time. But I am so happy that you did this. Your work is absolutely amazing. So is your personality. Did you have anything else to say? Did Instagram cut us off?
No, maybe I was just going to say that sometimes it's good to take, I don't know, I did a residency. Actually, I went to Haystack last year pretty much at this time period.
Oh, right, you did that too, yeah.
And it was just like the way that they have it set up, like they feed us like 3 times a day, and then you just, you wake up, you eat, you work in your studio, you eat, you work in your studio, you eat, and you work in your studio, and it's just like on repeat for 2 weeks, and you kind of get things done. And it's sort of amazing to come to a realization of like how much time do you actually lose in just kind of getting places.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, for sure.
I
I
think
think
sometimes if you can just make up your own. Like,
even with, I mean, I'm speaking for myself again, but I'm not completely saddened by all of this that has happened because exactly what you said, I have so much more time. And also, that's why I'm saying, like, now I can sit behind my desk and play because I also have so much free mentality time. Like all the socializings, all the things that we put out there for, which was great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but they're also draining. So there's not much time left for you, especially as artists, to sort of go inside and see what's happening inside. So I think a lot of us are having hard times adjusting, but also for some of us or a lot of us is also kind of pleasurable to see that we're all slowly kind of coming back to necessities of life as opposed to just going crazy with everything, and so many of it was not necessary.
yeah, most definitely. I think it's just living in a capitalist system.
Exactly. I'm trying to not become so political during these talks, but it's exactly what it is. It's very, we live in
Very
a
hard.
very capitalistic North American kind of dry way of living with no fun. And what we call fun wasn't really fun, to be
Yeah, it
honest.
really works against your creativity, and
Yeah,
you kind of have to like work against that to gain it back.
exactly.
But
No, I'm,
hey, we're like hoping to be like get out of the alienation
yeah.
by 2022. So that's the goal. So hopefully,
Soon. No, I think a lot of people are saying 2020 was horrendous and bad, which was in very many ways, but I feel like we all needed this year to sort of wake up and and create a better life,
oh
I
yeah,
think.
definitely. I think some good things are going to come out of that.
Yeah,
Like
me
more
too.
empathic
A
people.
lot of people are being hopeful. And I think we should, and we're going to go forward with much better lives.
Yes.
Also, before we say goodbye, I'm just going to bring this to everybody's attention again. People, please get on this. It's the hand metal project. You too, Anne-Sophie. Don't run away. Come back. But please get on it. I've still left the link in the bio. As Canadians, we don't have. Oh, look at
I
that.
haven't cut any
See?
yet, and
See,
I just want to
everybody?
say that my studio neighbor Sarah Sears, she's kind of the maritime representative. You can like
Oh,
send all your work
amazing.
to her. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
So
But
yeah,
I
I
will
just
pass them
started
again.
yesterday, and it's, you know what I do? I start with one in my morning and I end my night with one. It's two a day. You don't have to do a lot. It's just a simple, and it's so zen now that it's just like you're cutting out a piece of metal and you don't have to do anything from cleaning it and then putting it on a nice ribbon and then sending it off. And then it's going to be worn by a medical worker. What's more amazing than that?
I would like someone to make me a little punch for the nail. My
Oh.
nail caused me a little problem here.
Oh, I didn't even. Attention to details. Now I have to do.
Keep in
Dorothy,
touch,
I've
Dorothy.
explained this in a completely entire post in our Instagram. It's, I think, the second or third post. It's basically it was initiated in Spain. It's called the Hands Metal Project. If you
Yes.
Google it, it will come up. If you go on our Instagram, the post is there. The link is in our bio. You basically, it's just you have to cut these out and then do a little metal and then send it. Our representative in Toronto is Paul McClure, so we have to send it to Paul, and then he will distribute it out to medical workers. So it's just basically a nice way of keeping us occupied and saying thank you to the medical workers in the front line. That's how I see it. So yes, go take a look at it, and if you had any questions, let me know. I can help everybody with this. And Sophie, thank you so much. I don't know how
Thank
to
you,
thank you.
Pasha. It was
Honestly,
nice
I can't wait to see you.
chatting.
Hopefully in Halifax next time. I need to come to Halifax.
Yes, come road trip
Yes,
east of Montreal.
will do. Thank you again for your time. I really very, very much enjoyed our conversation. I hope
Thank
everybody else
you.
did too. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And me and MetalAid team very much appreciate it.
Reciprocated.
Bye bye. Bye,
So
everybody.
nice
Have a
to
good
chat with you.
night.